everybody, I mean me. There is me. Oh shit, let's see. This doesn't work at all, does it? Let's turn this a little bit this way. Hey, that's like way better. Now I have a fancy yellow background too. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing set up. I got a very inexpensive Korean, not that there's anything wrong with Korean stuff, but I've got a very inexpensive Korean tripod. I think I paid like $5 for it. So expectations are tempered. Hope everybody's doing good. If you're in here, feel free to say hey or ask any questions. This is not anything formal. Howling Wolf says disc golf, says, hey Scott. Hello, Jonathan. Yeah, we're just chilling here. I just like to check in. I just started checking in like every Wednesday to see how everybody's doing, but no actual formal agenda. Just chit-chatting with all my friends around the world because that's why social media is amazing. I'm the last holdout who thinks that social media is like the greatest thing ever, but I kind of think it is. How else could I be talking to all of you guys if it wasn't for this thing? Okay, that looks relatively straight, sort of. So how's everybody doing tonight? What's everybody up to? Are you guys at the course? Are you guys hanging out at home, wishing you were at the course? Have you quit disc golf because it's so damn frustrating? Or are you excited about playing tomorrow? Wes Warren says, excellent. Wookie says, what's going on? Hello, and hello, guys. So far, so good, man. Everything's great. I'm near Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm on my way to Evansville, Indiana. I'm doing a full day seminar in Evansville, Indiana on Saturday. So if anybody listening knows anybody in Southern Indiana, Southern Illinois, Southern Ohio, or Western Kentucky, or even further away than that, I suppose, let them know that one of my full day seminars is happening in Evansville. Let's see. Howling Wolf says he was wishing at the course, but it's raining. Let me get this a little closer. Let's see if that. Maybe I can see it, but it's raining. Well, that's no good. Wookie, putting practice today, playing tomorrow. Good, you got to practice. I like to hear that. Wes Warren says lots of sod gross today in Lewiston, Idaho. How can it possibly be gross in Idaho? Idaho's so beautiful. I think, in my humble opinions, as I travel around the country and live on the road, and I go to all these different places, and I've got a pretty decent perspective on which places are doing well and which places aren't, and especially in our modern world. And honestly, I think the two places that are doing the best in the whole country right now might be Utah and Idaho. I think you guys are killing it out there. I really love it out there. If I was going to live somewhere, which I won't, and it was going to be in the U.S., it would probably be either Utah, Idaho, or maybe, I don't know. I got this sting for Northern Ohio. I don't know. I've been saying this for years, but there's something wild about Northern Ohio. It's like everybody's just like pissed off at the same thing, but it's just like universal, like suffering, like I don't know, something about like the Cleveland people kind of just I get along with. Wookie says Appalachian Mountains. Dude, I could absolutely live in Appalachia. Like I freaking love all the mountain folks. So I was thinking about this today. One of the things I like about the South and the Midwest, but about the South especially, is that. So, okay, let me talk big picture for a second here. I'm going to talk not disc golf for a second. But when it comes to people and, relationships with women, my friendships with people, I'm not as concerned as like how good of a person you are or how like whether or not you have bad qualities or faults. Like that doesn't really bug me. What bugs me is inconsistency. Like if I don't know which you I'm getting, like it seems like I could trust you one day and then you screw me over the next. It's like that's the part that's impossible for me to deal with. Like if I know you're going to screw me over because you're like a dishonest rat, I could kind of be your friend because I just know what to expect, right? There's no like it's consistent and I can just navigate you. Um, that's how I kind of feel about the South. Like this, there's good things and bad things about the South, but the thing about the South is I think it's very consistent. Like when I go to Louisville, I know what I'm going to get, and it just makes it to me. It's like I can be at peace there because nothing's going to shock me. Like it's just life just kind of goes on as expected. I don't know, kind of a bit of a rant there, but that's why I like the South. I like every part of the country for different reasons, but the South is just. You agree, Adriana? Like it's consistent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just easy. Like I know I like when I talk to like a southerner, I know who I'm talking to and we get along great. So that's kind of the way Appalachia is, I think. It's like Appalachia is like I know the mountain people. I've gotten to know them over the years. I like them all. They're all just like predictable and easy to get along with and just there's no stress involved in the relationship. Like it's just easy. Okay, so anyways, Wes Warren says he turned a lot of dirt and yard into grassland, sod grass. Howling Wolf says, yeah, Wookie, the storm last week sucked like a hurricane without a hurricane. Wookie says, shoot for a minute, thought he was going to say bad putting. And then Evan says, inconsistently, truth. And then someone else, like, by the way, my screen's so small I can't see it. But Oscar Paulawada Vasalan Europa Palasta Pulagomosifa says, I appreciate you calling Louisville the South. They really do lay on the hospitality there. Dude, Louisville's great.
Did you try doing it sideways?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Just today or?
No, I haven't tried today. Hey, I'm going to try something, y'all. Let's just see if this works. Hold on. Ready? Let's see. Hold on a minute. And yeah, because it has the. It just says show me. It's just when I pull sideways, it says it needs to see a referral link. Okay, never mind. Worth a try though. They could have fixed it. No, like I love like this whole country. I love America, and I love like basically everywhere you go in America, it's completely absurd. But it's like it. The only difference is like what about it is absurd. It's not like everywhere doesn't have its absurdities, and so. Like I'm kind of good with like that's why I like traveling. I don't think I could be happy in any one place. In fact, I know I can't be because I'm not happy in one place. I like I like getting I like getting a diverse amount of absurdity. Sorry for the buzzword, but like I like the absurdity everywhere. All right, let's see. Wookie says, Howling, we need to make Scott a honorary mountain folk badge. Dude, I would love to have a mountain folk badge. The mountain folk are the freaking bomb. Like that is some of the bestest people. Like I was in Western North Carolina one time, and I made a friend out there, a disc golfer, who brought his kid out to my event, to the special needs class, who had autism. And I think it was his girlfriend's son, but it doesn't matter because they were together. And I met her, and she had only left the valley one time in her life. And so her entire life was in this valley with mountains around her, like literally her entire life. And she said when she left the valley, she went out into like the plains, but she felt like she was on top of a mountain and it felt like everything was dropping off around her, like she was on a peak because she was so used to being in a valley, not so used to, she had never, ever not had a valley around her entire life that flat looked like this. And like, they were so nice. Like, I would love to see them again. I think they're near Ash. Cool folks. But anyways, love my mountain folks, of course. Let's see. Paul Wadsworth. Morning, Scott Stokely. Y'all, we got a special guest all the way from New Zealand. Probably the least absurd country on earth. Like, New Zealand kind of just crushes. They kind of just do everything really good. New Zealand and Norway. No, actually, New Zealand, Norway, Japan, and South Korea and Malaysia.
Japan's got its own absurdity.
No, they all have their own absurdity, but well, I guess so. Japan's pretty absurd. Yeah, I love Japan. Let's see. Hey, Howling Wolf, live in North Carolina. Love North Carolina. Evan says, by the way, Scott, the juju is mind-bogglingly straight. It's a little frightening. My only question is how. So that's a really good question. And my answer to that question is, I don't have a clue. I am not the one designing the discs. But you are right. The juju is the straightest flying disc. Like, it is the straightest flying approach disc made, I would say, period, end of discussion, as far as how little that thing fades. I mean, it doesn't fade. And people are like, oh, well, this putter doesn't fade. It does compared to the juju. Like, the juju, like, you could put it at like a 3-degree anhyzer and it'll fly 150 feet with a 3-degree anhyzer and never fade back to level. It's ridiculous. By the way, if you guys, two things for y'all. This is the Peregrine. This is my high-speed driver I just released, and we need flight numbers. If you want to be part of what I'm calling the flock, which is the people, the part of the flock members, or just the flock, are the people that are buying the pre-production prototypes when I release it in a disc and submitting flight numbers and being part of the sports history forever. So go to Stokelydiscs.com and order your pre-production prototype of the Peregrine. And then, by the way, don't just do it to submit flight numbers. You're not doing me a favor. Do it because they're freaking awesome, amazing high-speed drivers. It's my first high-speed driver, and they're so good. Kyle says, best advice for consistent putting. Yes, I'm going to give you some advice, Kyle, but it's going to be, I'm going to take the opportunity to plug my online class and my seminars, because if I talk about teaching, I can kind of cover the basics, but there's way more to it than this. By the way, before I do that though, if you have a pro shop near you, you guys, if your local store doesn't carry Stokely discs, message me in social media, please, and tag them, and I will reach out to them and make sure they do. But please, if they don't carry Stokely discs, it takes like 10 seconds to go on to my Facebook Messenger and send me the name of your local store, and I will make sure they start carrying them. All right, so the best advice for consistent putting. So I'm trying to I got to give a short version of this. Basically, you do not get to decide your putting stance or your putting form, spin, push, or spush. Your body determines that for you, because we move more fluidly in certain directions and less fluidly in others. Like, there's just certain movements that are natural, that are, because they're fluid, they're easy to repeat. There are more unnatural motions, and if you have an unnatural motion, you're going to obviously be more inconsistent. Your body's not moving the way it's meant to be moved. The way I describe it is calibration. Every moving part in your body has to be properly calibrated to move in the direction it was meant to move. Calibrated parts of mechanical devices can be out of calibration. Maybe one part's here, maybe one part's rotated here, and it still does the thing it was meant to do. That moving part will still move the way it was supposed to. But if it's out of calibration, it begins to grind, and it wears, and it catches, and there's friction. And basically, that is what is going to inherently cause the inconsistency. You putting with a motion that isn't the way your body most naturally and fluidly wants to move. Here's the thing, though. Every one of you has a different body. All right, different amounts of muscle mass in different area, we're different sizes, different shapes. Our joints don't align at identical angles from each other. We have a different range of motion within those joints, and then we have different strengths, muscles putting more or less force in certain directions, and then you have injuries and scar tissue built up. And like, basically what it means is there cannot be a universally correct putting stance and putting form when all of our bodies move differently. What is universal is that you must be in a stance or a form where your body moves naturally. As soon as you are in a stance or a form how your body moves, you're now going to be consistent because your body is properly calibrated and you're doing the same thing every time. Quotes are on every time, putting's still hard. But I do not believe there's a universally correct stance or form. You have to find the stance and form dictated by how your body naturally moves. And just to add to that, this is my belief as to why there's all these different putting stances and putting form on the Pro Tour. This shouldn't happen. This is the law of large numbers, meeting the nature of how sports works. If there was a putting stance or a putting form that gave a person an inherent advantage, in other words, he had a higher probability of success with this stance over that stance, if that was to happen in a pool of 15 million disc golfers, the people that had the correct stance and form would have created a competitive advantage by having the better stance and form, and everybody else would have had to change their stance and form to that way in order to keep up. It's just how sports works. This is how every sport works. When you have a pool of 15 million players, correct form always wins out. There is no universally consistent form on the Pro Tour. In a pool of 15 million players, if that hasn't happened yet, it's never going to happen. We're not going to get to 20 million players and be like, oh, we didn't know anything at 15 million. No, 15 million is enough people to know that if there was a correct way to putt, everybody would do it. My only explanation for this is that stance and form must be individual. Now, just to be clear, that does not mean you throw any way you want to. It doesn't mean physics, biomechanics, how our bodies move. There's so many things in place that are fixed rules. Okay, this isn't about just doing what works best for you. That's BS. But your stance and your form, the position your body's in when you putt and the position your shoulder moves is individual to you and your body alone. So as far as how to find that, you find where you're smoothest and feel most natural. I don't know how else to describe that. It's something that's hard to do on your own, which is why I have a 6-month online class called Become a Complete Disc Golfer. You can read about it at scottstokely.net. A big part of the class is we will figure out your stance and form. In the process, you'll be doing an unlimited number of professional form reviews where you can be uploading videos, getting feedback. This is not like just watching videos being told what to do. That's YouTube. That's not, I don't charge for YouTube videos. It's an interactive class. And I also have seminars all across the eastern third of the U.S., or actually all the way out to Omaha, so the eastern half of the U.S., over the next upcoming months. You can read about those at scottstokely.net. Okay. Paul says, Sarah and I leave for the U.S. in 2 weeks, touring for 8 weeks. She will play the U.S. Women's and World Juniors, playing FA1 in Wisconsin. Long way from when you visited 2 years back. Yeah, tell Sarah that I'm her biggest fan, and I'm just not available any weekends. The next 3 months, I'm doing seminars every weekend because I might have gone into debt. I might have gone into debt on my trip to Asia, and I might have gone into debt. I dug a pretty decent hole for myself. So, and by the way, the disc company is doing great, but I'm not going to draw a dollar from the disc company for 3 years. Me and my partner agreed to a minimum of 3 years. So, in order to grow the company, we're not touching anything from the company. So I'm having to live off of my teaching. And then just growing the business, yeah. All right, and then okay, Jock support what it says as a new player. With new player, I can't really get into all the different name discs and all the different plastics. I like the hardest plastic I can get that can be reproduced reliably and flight. It's accurate. Oh, it's accurate numbers. Yeah. Okay. So first off, I agree. You gotta have. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I skipped. Wookie says, "Have I been to Greece?" I have not. And Howling Wolf says the Juju is the best straight approach disc and loves the Peregrine. I can't wait to dye it. Thank you, Howling Wolf. Yeah, so basically, reproducing discs consistently is a challenge. A lot of manufacturers do a good job. Some of them don't do a good job. I can tell you this, everybody's trying to do a good job. It just so happens, I can move this over here. Let's see if I can see this better. See if I can see it this way. I'm trying to figure out, this light is right above my head, but I'm trying to figure out how to be able to read the screen while actually not shining the light in your guys' face. Yeah, everyone's trying to make consistent discs. Every company is. I know some of them do a better job than others, but everybody's trying to. It's hard. Like so far, my discs have been very consistent. It's extremely important to me that they stay that way, and I'll keep doing my best too. But I know it's not easy. As far as flight numbers being accurate, this is why I'm crowdsourcing flight numbers. Okay, if you try out the pre-production prototype of the Peregrine, it's got StokelyDiscs.com. You will get to help contribute flight numbers. Now, the reason this is so important that I'm crowdsourcing flight numbers is that flight numbers, by definition, need to match as close as possible the expectations of the customer buying the disc. If I provide flight numbers, they will perfectly meet my expectation of what I think the disc should do. But I am one person. I am not an aggregate of all the other players out there. I'm one person, and there is a lot of subjectivity to flight numbers. So by crowdsourcing flight numbers, the community basically all votes, and you'll get as close as possible. The average that comes in will be as close as possible to what the discs will actually do. It still will always be imperfect because some people throw faster than average. Some people have more wobble than average. Some people put the nose up more than average. It's never going to be perfect, but it's as perfect as you can get. Flight numbers have to match. And one thing that I'm doing, y'all, and this is critical to me, and it just blows my mind that everybody isn't doing this. When I release a disc in a different plastic, if it flies differently because of a different plastic, and we all know this can happen, especially with drivers and especially with high-speed drivers, I will have unique flight numbers for every single model along with the plastic it came in. So the idea that I'm going to have the Peregrine in 3 different plastic types that each fly a little bit differently, but then I'm going to put the same flight numbers on all 3, I happen to think that's lazy. Not trying to like call anybody out, but it's lazy and it's very unfair to the consumer. Like look, I don't want to sound all preachy when I say this, but I'm going to, I might go there a little bit, but I take it very serious that there are people out there buying my discs that have to work 2 or 2.5 hours of their life to purchase one of my discs. The idea that they buy a disc from me and it doesn't fly the way I'm telling it flies, like I'm not doing that to people. I think that's shitty. I mean, I'm sorry to say it like that, but I mean, that's just not fair to the consumer. So I'm matching flight numbers with plastic types with crowdsourcing. It's imperfect, but it is like I'm going to have the best and closest flight numbers in the sport. I can at least try. Let's see. Paul says staying with the Davis family in Wisconsin. They're great. Wait, the Davis family? I thought they were in Iowa.
That's where Genevieve was.
Genevieve, isn't that who it is?
Yeah.
Genevieve's in Iowa, right? What? Are they in Wisconsin? I thought they were not. No, it was Wisconsin. Oh, never mind. But I will be in Wisconsin in a couple months. Maybe I'll see y'all there still. That'd be cool. Are you chewing gum? I need to throw further at like 300 to 350 feet right now. My online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer. Let me find, this is the light's still bad over here. Drona, can you bring me the backpack? I just had an idea. I think I got a solution to this light shining in your faces. I just came up with an idea. So the what is it? You said, the online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer, or show up at one of my seminars around the eastern half of the U.S. the next 3 months. If we set this here, thank you very much. This is going to work. Check this out. Watch this, you guys. This is going to be gold. It worked. Now I can see it, and there's no light behind me. All right. Yeah, it's not bad. I think it all helps. All right. Any practice? And practice when you're finding your putting style. Yeah, you got to practice. Okay, so here's the thing. I said you got to have correct mechanics to be consistent. I'm going to give you guys an algorithm, and I'm actually going to make a video with a more complex algorithm. I'm going to tell you exactly the key to success in disc golf. The two primary parts of disc golf are your mechanics. In other words, your technique, your form, whatever you want to call it. I call it mechanics. Your mechanics and how much you practice. Those are the two primary factors. Your mechanics are your ceiling, and how much you practice is how close you get to your ceiling. So it basically works like this. If your mechanics are down here, it does not matter how much you practice. You can practice till you're blue in the face every day for hours. You can't get past your mechanics. You have a ceiling. Now, with proper mechanics, which is what I teach, your ceiling gets up here because you're now throwing correctly. But you're here. But now when you practice, you can get better and better and better. Your ceiling is your mechanics, but how much you practice is how close you get. So in other words, you have perfect mechanics, but you never practice. Well, you're still going to be down here. You still got to practice, but at least it gives you the opportunity to practice. Bad mechanics, you're done. There's other parts of the algorithm. I'm making a video about this where I'm going to talk about your body, right? There's certain things you have control over, like your fitness, certain things you don't have control over, like injuries and age and height, and then this mental game. But those are the 5 factors that determine how far you can throw. It'll be a good video. Let's see. Howling Wolf says, this is the reason I recommend the Stokely method, the online class or full-day seminar. Thank you, Howling Wolf. I appreciate you recommending. Donna Brock says, hi, Scott and Adriana. Hello, Donna. How are you? Miss you guys. We'll hopefully see you soon. Dallas, Donna's grandson, just finished 5th place at the Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova. That was a major tournament. Calvin Heinberg won it. So there were some pretty good players in the mix. Obviously, Calvin was there, and Dallas, who just recently turned 17 years old and is the first Stokely Disc sponsored player, finished 5th place. So pretty impressive for a 17-year-old. I mean, if he was 18, not impressive at all. But for a 17-year-old, pretty good. Bill Smother says, I am 55 and started playing 2 years ago. I love the sport. I wish I got into it much younger. Anyway, Scott, you're one of my favorite personalities online when it comes to throwing in the sport. You rock, brother. You know what, Bill? You are my favorite type of person. And that's the type of person who really likes me. Can I say that?
Works for me.
Does that work for you? No, I'm teasing. I feign arrogance. I hope you guys know when I'm joking. I appreciate that. I'm trying to represent. I'm 55. I'll be 56 in August, and I'm trying to represent us older folks. That's why I'm going to PDGA Pro Worlds in Finland again. I guess it is again, but I'm going to PDGA World Championships in Finland at the end of July, and I'm going to try to shock the world. I'm certainly going to shock a lot of 25-year-olds that I beat. I don't know if I'm going to beat them all. I'm going to try to beat them all, but at the very least, I'm hoping to beat most of them. So Paul says, miss you guys, but I'm sure we'll catch up again sometime. Sarah is your biggest fan as well. I love Sarah. I love you too, Paul. Like, you guys are the best. I love New Zealand, and I love what you're doing. And I just, I love watching Sarah's journey. She's got the best coach. You are her actual hero and her best coach. And just tell her I send my love. Raul Torres says, Scott, I have some back issues, and backhand gives me a lot of back pain. I'm throwing sidearm, but can't throw past 250 feet. Okay, so let's talk about injuries a bit. Let's talk about injuries and how disc golf affects the body, because I have some theories on this. This is my theories. In my experience, just this is observational, but this is observational after 48 years in the sport and teaching more than anyone else in the sport. You shouldn't hurt from throwing your backhand. Now, if you have a previous injury or if you're hurt from something else, yeah, like doing anything can hurt. Think of it like this, like walking shouldn't hurt you, but obviously if you tore your ACL, walking's going to be painful, but it's not because the walking was painful, it's because you did a normal thing with the torn ACL. That's how I think about backhand. Backhands with proper technique shouldn't hurt. So if, Raul, you are having problems with your back due to throwing your backhand, then I am 99% sure you're throwing mechanically wrong. Take my online class and let's fix this and let's get you throwing correctly. I just have like countless people that have come out to my seminars who are like, I thought I'd be so sore at the end of the day. And here we went out on my full day seminar and they threw for 9 hours and they're like, holy shit, I don't hurt at all. Like they're just mind blown. And I'm like, yes, when you throw mechanically correct backhands, it's not supposed to hurt. Now, I'm not just trying to automatically pitch the class because obviously if you have previous injuries, I can't speak to those, but it shouldn't hurt from throwing. Sidearms, on the other hand, even if you throw mechanically correct on your sidearm, it can still hurt. This is just a fact of the physiology of the mechanics of throwing a sidearm. When you throw a sidearm correctly, you can hurt your rotator cuff, your bursa sac, and you can hurt this little tendon on the inside of the elbow, even if you throw correctly. So if you are hurt from throwing sidearm, it may mean you are throwing incorrectly, but it's not automatic that you're throwing incorrectly. You might be throwing correctly and it's just sidearm hurts the arms. It's just the reality of throwing a sidearm. Unfortunately, like, no way to tell without looking at it. But you should be able to get past the back pain. That throwing with correct mechanics, taking care of your body. Like, I don't know anything about you, so if I don't mean to hit a nerve, but for example, if you're carrying a lot of extra weight, just the reality, you are putting a strain on your whole body and things are going to hurt worse. And so you have the solution is to take better care of your body, maybe even if your mechanics are correct. I know it's 2025. You're not supposed to suggest such a crazy idea that being healthy is going to cause less injuries, but I don't have to be politically correct. I turned 55. Only 54 and unders need to be politically correct. I crossed the line. I can say whatever I want now, and got to take care of your body. Zero says, do you ever do classes in South Carolina? Been checking off and on for years and never seen a South Carolina show up. Wife and I would really like to get a clinic. So go to scottstokely.net and get on the mailing list, but also check on one of my coaches, Tyler Wozniak, who is absolutely fantastic. It's also a little bit less expensive when Tyler does it. He does classes in the Carolinas, and because he's doing classes in the Carolinas, I'm kind of just staying out of his area because he's teaching the Stokely method, and he teaches my method to a T. Like, look at the reviews online. Everyone loves him. He's absolutely phenomenal at what he does. He just did one in Charleston, like just last week or this week, Monday. So anyways, he does them and he's great. But if go to scottstokely.net, and I can tell you this, I vouch for any of my coaches because it's not like they're just using my name. They've gone through training with me. They've come to my seminars. Then I go to their seminars where they teach my teaching method with me. They're watching them to make sure they do it right. They're actively engaged online, so I can see that they're keeping up with the method. But I don't know if I'll be in South Carolina. But the online class, check out the online class. It sounds, like I said, the online class is not just a bunch of like tutorials and videos and drills to work on. That would be YouTube. Like, I wouldn't charge people for that. like with a bunch of instructional classes. No, you find that for free. The online classes, that's what I'm most proud of. It's a absolutely step-by-step process that involves you constantly uploading form review videos, getting feedback from the trainers. You and your wife are going to get the information to be training each other. Like, nobody takes the online class and is like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work. That was a bad idea. It's almost universally praised. So go to scottstokely.net. That's what I'd recommend. Bob Bean says, Kyle, you got to practice. Yeah, definitely don't forget the practice part. I was talking all about the body mechanics and the body being fluid. Yeah, but you also got to practice, right? But all the practice in the world with the wrong form, and your ceiling's going to be only so high. David says, yo. And my response to David is, yo. Paul, if you could throw forehand, assuming you're right-handed, learn to throw left-handed backhand, same spine motion. Yeah, I mean, that is something that is a possibility. When you throw opposite hand, you're always going to have a ceiling on how far you can get because it's just not your dominant hand. You're always going to be a tick behind with all the practice in the world. But we all have different goals and different reasons for playing. And if it's the difference between playing and not playing, that is not the worst solution. A better solution is to take my class and do my seminars. And let me kind of get you throwing correctly, but that also costs money, and that's not a bad option if you don't want to spend the money to try to learn the opposite hand. It's not the best option, but it's not a bad option. So I appreciate the feedback there. Zach says, "Hey Scott, any tip for someone going to their first MA3 event?" Okay, Zach, everybody's going to give you the same answer. They're going to say the whole tip is just go have fun, and everybody is right. Just go absorb the experience. Like, you'll get an idea how events are run. You're going to make some friends. You're going to get an idea, maybe a more strict version of the rules, but it's generally in MA3. Most of the rules are kind of approached as, hey, you're not supposed to do that, or, oh, you made a mistake back then, don't do it again. I mean, technically, it's a PDGA tournament. Someone can call you on a violation that has a stroke penalty and give you the stroke, and they're not wrong if they do it. Those are the rules. But you get a little bit of latitude in MA3. But just have an experience. Just enjoy, just like take it all in and see what it's like. It's going to be a little overwhelming at first. You'll probably feel a little bit of stress. Don't set expectations. Just go play, make friends, and yeah, just have fun. Donna says, we miss you guys as well. Can't wait to see you both again. Oh, we'll be around. You ain't getting rid of us. We're going to ride that cash cow named Dallas Garber all the way to the bank, baby. Dallas is what? Did I say that out loud? Dallas doesn't realize it. He's going to make me rich. That's by the way, if you're new on the show, that's my very first Stokely Disc sponsor player. He just turned 17 years old, and he's kind of really, 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 really good. And I'm also a huge fan of him and his family. So he's an early adopter of Stokely Discs, and as we grow, he's going to grow within our business because we're going to be working very closely with Dallas over the years. I'm his biggest fan. Well, maybe not. Donna might be, but I'm one of his biggest fans. And he's going to make us rich. Two-tone Cadillac. Scott, I believe you will represent us mid-50s people well. We still got it. We do still got it. And if we don't still got it, we can pretend. We're still young enough to fake it. Is that fair? By the way, for all the mid-50s men out there, I got advice for you. If you want to stay younger, date younger women. Am I right? What do you think, Adriana?
Also works for me.
Is that all works for you too? Okay. So anyways, that's my advice for you. And look, I know some of you are married. Just talk to your wife and be like, baby, remember how handsome I was when I was younger? Scott Stokely said if I dated younger women, I'm going to start to look younger and feel younger, and I'm going to be a better husband for you because of it. Trust me on this, guys. Tell that to your wives. It'll work. I guarantee it. Would that work, you think, Adriana? It's good. It's good advice.
You might want to take some flowers and say,
No flowers. No, because guys, once you look younger and feel younger, your wife will be buying you flowers. Yeah. There's my marriage advice for the day. By the way, I'm an expert. If anybody has any questions about relationship advice, I'm an absolute expert at relationships. I don't know, God, I've had more like 1 year and 6 month relationships than almost anybody I know. Kind of makes me a pro. Zero says exercise is all important. Busted on my rotator cuff with awful form. Fixed form based on Scott's video. So happy to hear this. And did target exercises, can now hit mid 400s forehand. Exercisers suffer, literally. Yeah, Zero, you're not wrong. Like, I've come to just really be a believer in, like, I work out hard. And so, like, let me tell you, like, so when I was getting ready for the pro tour, I spent about 9 months, like, in the gym, going 4 days out of every 6 for 2 hours, hitting it so hard with protein and supplements and blah, blah, blah. And I got in unbelievably phenomenal shape for 52 years old. It was unsustainable. I've never, not since 2022, have I worked out that hard again. I've never been motivated to keep that pace. That was when I'm back on tour for the first time. When I was competing on tour, what I would do, because I'm too old to like lift weights and then compete the next day and do well. I need a few days off break between. So what I did when I was competing was I would lift weights on Mondays. And I'd be there for like 2 or 3 hours. I'd do like my entire body, everything I could possibly do, but it was 1 day a week. And then over the winters, I kind of was off and on the last couple of years because when I'm in Asia, I can't get to a gym. And so it was difficult. So I've never been diligent about it since, but I haven't stopped. I'm still in like not as good a shape as I was in 2022, but better shape than I was in 2021 still. Would you agree, Adriana?
mm-hmm.
I'm definitely better shape than I was. And it's life changing. I'm not trying to get all preachy. I ain't telling anybody to do CrossFit. In fact, don't. CrossFit was created by the physical therapy industry to drum up more customers, I heard. Don't quote me on that. I just made that up, but it could be true. But I think you got to take care of your body. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work out. You got to put the time in. It's like this machine here, like it needs it. But it's like, I think, like, honestly, 1 day of lifting weights a week, but doing it every single week while moderating your diet, I think is like, it'll give you 10 more good years of your life. And that's not 4 days a week in the gym and taking up running and like doing 5Ks and weighing out your portions. I'm talking about just reduce your carbs and your sugar and lift weights once a week. I think that's a reasonable amount it's a reasonable expectation for everybody. Howling Wolf says it's worth every penny for the online class. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Howling Wolf is in the online class. You can message him direct for unsolicited endorsement. Hey, Scott, why do I throw farther with 2-finger driver compared to a full grip? I will give you a couple reasons why that's possible. So first off, there is no such thing and there will never be a universally correct backhand grip or sidearm grip. Okay, there cannot be a universally correct grip for every person because everybody has a different shaped hands. We have different length fingers, we have different strength, different flexibility. Our joints have different range of motion, and we're at different angles, and then we have arthritis built up. And like the idea that there's one correct grip for every person is completely absurd. Okay, any video you've ever the fire alarm's going off. Well, they're running around outside our room. You want to check to see if there's a fire? Hold on, let's just check to see if there's a fire.
You might want to that.
What? Hold on. No, I want everybody to enjoy the fire alarm with me. Don't log off, everybody. We're going to see if there's a fire outside our window.
It's also the second time one of your live streams was interrupted by
A disaster?
Nobody chat. Remember we had
Okay. Yeah. No, I had, and we can't disable the fire alarm. I hope you guys don't leave. My live stream is lit. You see a fire going on? Nobody seems to. I don't think there's a fire going on. So if you guys hang on for just a minute, I'm sure it'll come to an end. And I could explain the whole. Yep, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about grip as soon as this thing stops beeping. You know what? I'm really impressed. So many of you are actually still in here hanging out with me. I'll tell you what, go ahead and if you want to mute your thing so you can't hear me, and then I'll wave to you when we're ready. But you can just mute. We've got 23 people in here. I could go out to the hallway.
No, it's worse in the hallway.
What? Well, I was going to go out, maybe go outside.
It's worse in the hallway.
No, I said I could go outside, though. All right, we're going to give it like 10 more seconds, then I'm going to take the phone outside.
And you can't use it.
Oh, no, I'll take the stairs. Okay, now we're down to 18 people. See, everybody's going to leave. And I don't blame them. I want to leave. All right, here, I'm going to take the phone outside. Hold on a second, guys. Don't go.
Now there are people.
Oh, there are people going outside? Well, that's one person. Hold on, I'm going to go outside. All right, well, I'm going to leave you in the room, so try not to burn up. Hold on, guys. Don't go. I'm going outside. Oops, wrong way. Hold on, we're almost outside. Is there an actual fire?
They do this all the time here, man.
They're actually leaving. By the way, you're all alive in front of thousands of people right now.
Last time it was 12 o'clock at night, they said it was.
Really?
On a shower.
That was last week?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, it was at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Hold on, I'm gonna go. Isn't this exciting, you guys? This would be so exciting if it actually is a fire. And you get the live on video. What if I rescue somebody live on video? Hold on a second. Hey, everybody is actually leaving the building, so we should go outside. They actually are, like, the stairs are filled with people. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna do my live stream in front of like a live audience. I got the keys. Hey. Okay, I'll see you down there. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going outside, guys. One more second. Oh God. All right, we'll be outside in just a second, guys. That's so crazy. Oh, thank you. All right, so anyways, let's go. All right, so what I'm saying was there cannot be a universally correct. Why is it buzzing outside? They don't need to tell people in the parking lot that there's a fire. Oh my God. Okay, give me over. Hold on, guys. I'm almost at a place where it's not buzzing. All right, this is gonna have to do. So anyways, let me answer your question then. So what you need to have is everybody's different shaped hands. Your hand determines your grip, not you. Okay, you don't get to decide your grip. It's determined by the shape of your hand. What you need to have is a strong, be firm, be able to grip it, clean as possible, and it needs to be a consistent grip will give you all three of those things. So what you do is you experiment with different grips, and whichever grip gives you the best results is your correct grip. Don't let anybody talk you off of that grip. Now, this does not mean, like I said earlier, it does not mean you just start. But everything else has very strict rules when it comes to the mechanics. I just happen to bring up the two things that don't. So, long answer to your question. The short answer then is, if you get better results with a two-finger grip, you do that. Now, having said that, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case if you experiment with different grips. I think if you experiment with different grips with proper technique, I think you'll find that at very least a three-finger grip is going to work better than two fingers. But because you probably have improper technique, it's probably correlation versus causation. For example, when you put the four fingers on the disc, it might put the disc into a different position in your hand. It might cause the nose to go up. Perhaps throwing with two fingers keeps the nose down, which means the disc flies farther. It also gets more snap. But that's only because your technique wasn't perfect to begin with. So now there's sirens coming here. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I'm not stopping the show. The show must go on. That's what they say in Hollywood, right? All right. So yeah, get proper technique and you'll probably find that more fingers are better, but ultimately grip is individual. Howling Wolf says you can pay $49.99 a month for 6 months and for $50 a month to play better. Yeah, you're right. So it's $300, but you can do $50 a month. I literally think there's fire trucks coming here. How funny is this? Donna says, Dallas said at the end of LVC, paraphrasing, he finally realized the difference between him and the other pros is that he hasn't learned to finish yet. No, he did have a rough finish. And I think the reason why, my guess is because he was on the cusp of a podium finish. He finished 5th place, but he was basically right there for a podium finish. He was also right there for it was a USDGC qualifier. He could have gone to USDGC just because of that event. That's sick. My guess is that probably got in his head. And the only thing, that just takes experience. Basically, I think it stopped. Basically, the more he's in that position, the more familiar he's going to be next time he's in that position. Next time it won't seem as foreign. The time after that, it won't seem as foreign. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Now there's fire trucks coming. And I think it was for a false alarm. Crazy. So yeah, but he'll be fine. I'm not the slightest bit worried. I think I was very proud of him. I think he did great. Alf says, like your tips, it helps a lot with your discs, but he doesn't have a big distance yet. My online class at scottstokely.net or one of my full day seminars, you'll be throwing farther because you're throwing correctly. But thank you for the kind words. Working on putting and distance, that's most of it. The live stream is lit. Never a dull moment. Love it. By the way, you guys remember the funniest thing was that I was doing the live stream in Japan, and they get a lot of earthquakes in Japan, sometimes some really bad ones and tsunamis. So we're in our room, and on the loudspeaker, all of a sudden it says, it announces that there's an earthquake, and we have to take cover, find a door frame or like whatever I forget what it said, but it actually said it in English. It said it in Japanese, then English. It says, there's an earthquake. You all need to take cover now. And we're at our hotel. So I've had a false alarm fire and then an earthquake alert during my live stream. Maybe I bring it on myself. Maybe I make it happen. Maybe this is my simulation. Mike says it's not as loud through the video as it is in person. Oh my God, you all are so lucky then. It was horrible. Live stream is on fire. The old fire alarm prank. Caleb, switch to one finger on my forehand throw without palm facing up. Got my forehand back to simple. I've broken my arm so many times I couldn't take two fingers much longer. Look, let me tell you something about one finger on the sidearms, okay? All things being equal, two fingers on the rim of the disc are better than one, right? In a perfect world, when we all have identically perfect hands, yeah, you're going to want to throw with two fingers. But the thing is, more important than that, the single most important rule when it comes to sidearm grip, and this ain't even close, is your fingerprints, the bottom of your fingers, must be pressing primarily on the rim of the disc or on the rim pressing the rim of the disc. Your fingerprints cannot primarily be pressing on the bottom or the underside or the flight plate of the disc. If your fingerprints are primarily pressing on the flight plate of the disc, your throw will not work. And if it does work, it's going to have such a ceiling on the power that it's like you're just throwing away like 50 or 80 feet of distance by doing it. Not everybody's hand is shaped in a way and bends in a way where you can put two fingers on the rim of the disc. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. All of our hands are different. Because of that, I would say, and I've worked with more players than anyone in the world, and I've taught more people how to throw sidearm correctly than anyone in the world, and have made people go, oh my God, I have a sidearm now. Like, this is what I do. 10 to 15% of them I have throwing with one finger, because getting their hand into the right position is worth the trade-off of slightly less strength from one finger over two. So yeah, in a perfect world, throw with two fingers, but do not let anybody tell you that you must throw with two fingers. It's absolutely false. Two fingers works. Try and get my wife to throw the driver farther and straight. Yeah, so it's the same thing with like I was saying, it's like my online class. She'll throw farther and straighter. It works for everybody. I've made videos about I had this one 62-year-old woman named Nancy who threw like 50 feet, and then I worked with her for 5 minutes, and then she threw like 200 feet on a straight line, perfectly flat on a rope, and it's on video. It's on my page. The video is called "Stop Teaching Women to Not Do an X Step." If you want to look it up, it's on my YouTube channel. And she threw that shot, and she turned around and just did this. Just like she was incredulous because she didn't realize she could throw like, she's 62 years old, and she was brand new to disc golf, and now she's throwing like 200 feet on a rope, and she was just like, oh my God. Yeah, it's just mechanics. All we are when we play are simple mechanical devices. If you put the mechanical device in the right position, the mechanical device will give you the maximum potential, or you have the maximum potential. You'll get the maximum results possible based on the potential of your mechanical device. Let's see. Trying to get you to throw the driver farther straight. Hey, what's up? I can't read it very well. Gexter, hello, what's up? Alf says, your snap and putting video helped me. There are 3 kinds of putting shots. Yeah, there's basically 3 general categories of putts: spin, push, and spoosh. If you do my online class, I actually break it into 8 categories as we tried to figure out. Remember a minute ago I said you got to find how your body moves? I actually subdivide that into 8. So I have 2 different spin putts, 2 different spoosh putts, and 4 different push putts. You have to figure out which of those is your putt, your category of putt. So I actually break it into 8, but really there's kind of 3 main categories. Kexter says, I have an old Ching portable basket. It now has wear from the sun. Any replacements for baskets? Honestly, right now, I think MVP's killing it. I don't think you can get any better than the black hole basket from MVP for the price. And I like everybody. They're all my friends, but I think that's probably your best bet. Kexter says, yep, I have smaller hands. Yeah, so you have to figure out the grip that works for your hand. Here's the joke I make. Every video that says, here's how you should grip your backhand, for example, what that video should say, what the title should be, is not, here's how to grip your backhand. The YouTube title for that video should be, here's how you grip your backhand, comma, if you have a hand that is identical to my own, comma, but if you don't, you must experiment with different grips and find the grip that gives you a strong grip with a clean and consistent release. And no person, video, coach, or pro can tell you which that grip will be. It must be figured out through trial and error. And ultimately, ... pause for breath. Whatever grip you land on is not up to you. Your hand will give you a better release with one grip than another, and that's the one you must choose. Exclamation point. That's what the title of the video should be. So 12 speed goes for me. Yeah, I mean, if you can throw a 12 speed, throw them. Like, I honestly, like when they say you should not throw high speed drivers when your arm isn't that fast, I mean, that's totally true. I tend to think that maybe the distance you can start throwing high speed drivers at is a little bit shorter than some people say, because people will tell you don't throw the high speed drivers unless you're like you throw 400 feet or something like that. I think by the time you're throwing 300 feet, you could start to incorporate like destroyers and things like that into your bag. I mean, I think the Peregrine's a good disc, but I'm not saying this to sell the Peregrine. But I think that by 300 feet, you could start to incorporate some high-speed drivers into your bag. Short of that, probably not. But by the time you get there, yeah, probably. I'm a bit of a weirdo, Alf says. We're all weirdos. I throw ambidextrous left and right is good because I can't throw sidearm at all. You don't have to throw sidearm. Okay? It's not about having two different deliveries. When people say, or when I say you have to have a backhand and a sidearm, really what we mean is you need to be able to spin the disc both directions, counterclockwise spin and clockwise spin. If you can do that with equal skill, right-handed, left-handed backhands, you don't need a sidearm. I mean, with the exception of the occasional time you're stuck behind a tree on an approach shot, it certainly helps to have it. But off a T-pad, if you can throw backhands both directions, you're fine. Howling Wolf, any plan to have a disc named the Parakeet or Parrot? I just got a Parakeet today, and I'm going to get a blue mutation Parrot one day. I don't want to say. But yes, every cool bird name out there is going to have, it's going to be on one of my discs at some point. Every cool name that hasn't been taken. Jesse says, what does the taco putt fall under? I mean, can you say Mexican putt? Like Mexican food, Mexican putt, the taco putt? Would the lasagna putt be an Italian putt? Would the macaroni and cheese putt be a whitey putt? I don't know. We'll go with that. Caleb says, I putt with low-profile putters, PA1 Proto, and for longer putts, Nico Signature Series PA1. Haven't found any other putters that are similar, but they are very stable. Any suggestions? Oops. Sorry, I was trying to think. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If I was really good at marketing, I'd happily tell you that my putters are the greatest putters ever made. But I have to be honest over marketing. The honest truth is my putters are awesome. They fly great, that the plastic's tacky, that they're consistent. I think they're absolutely fantastic. But putters are a very individual thing. You need to find a putter that flies well for you. And I can't tell you what that putter will be. What I can tell you is I make great putters and you should try them. The Ren is fairly low profile, but ultimately you just have to try different putters and whichever comes out best for you is best. There is no best putter. right? Every putter is based entirely and solely on the shape of your hand and which one comes out consistently for you. And I mean, man, I wish I could tell you that my putters were the best putters, because that's what you're supposed to do as a business. But I'll take honesty and credibility over good marketing every day. And then ultimately, honesty and credibility, I think, reinforces my marketing, because you can trust me and believe me when I tell you this. This is why when I say to you in the same sentence, the Peregrine is freaking phenomenal as a high-speed driver, and I think every single person that throws it is going to stick it in their bag. One person said it's kind of a combination between a Wraith and a Destroyer. I thought that was a pretty accurate description. I can honestly tell you the Peregrine is phenomenal, and if you order it, I want you to submit flight numbers, but order it because the Peregrine's great. I say that in the same sentence as saying there's no such thing as the best putter. So I want you to trust me on the Peregrine, because I'm being honest with everything else. Eddie says, loving the Cardinal. Thanks, Scott. You are so welcome. I am loving that you throw the Cardinal. I think that's fantastic. I appreciate that. All right, you guys. I just wanted to check in and say hello to everybody. Again, Peregrine. Tell your friends about the Peregrine. Also, if your local store doesn't carry Stokely discs or Ching discs, message me on Facebook, or I actually just made a post just today that says tag your pro shop if they don't sell Stokely discs. Tag me on the post and tell me, and let me reach out to them, and I will reach out to them, and I'll see if we can't get Stokely discs into their store. But I need people to submit flight numbers. Order some Peregrines. You're going to freaking love them. They're a cross between a Wraith and a Destroyer. That's players' words, not mine. Join the Scott Stokely Discord. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. I was about to say that. Actually, I forgot, but I like taking credit for stuff I didn't do. So I'm going to say it was my idea, and Jonathan got to it first, because I like to steal other people's ideas and make them my own. No, I'm just kidding. No, Jonathan with Howling Wolf has become a very close person to Stokely discs, and a good friend of ours. If y'all, keep those tips coming on YouTube. Put tips on how to approach from behind trees. I could do that. We'll do a patent pending video coming up. How about that? Last question. Does anybody have any questions unrelated to disc golf? I am kind of an expert at careers and relationships and health and fitness. By the way, when I say I'm an expert in the way we all think we're experts at everything. So I think I'm an expert at this stuff. I dropped out of school in the 10th grade, so I'm kind of an expert at careers, and I've had about 94 one-year relationships in the last 30 years. Do the math. Trust me, it works. So I'm kind of an expert there. But if anybody has any questions about anything unrelated to disc golf, shoot them over. If not, I will be happy to check in with you guys next Wednesday. I think I might do this as a regular Wednesday thing. I love seeing everybody and talking. Hopefully next time the building's not going to be on fire. I mean, it wasn't really on fire, but it's kind of funny. Actually, do I have a key? Can I get back in? I am the new Hitch. I don't know what Hitch is. I wonder what that means. Oh, Alf says, where do you live? Okay, Alf, here's the God's honest truth. 5.5 years ago, I got rid of every single thing in this world that I couldn't fit into one backpack. I don't have a storage unit. I don't have a box of stuff anywhere. Aside from work stuff, like, merchandise, obviously discs and my golf bag and stuff. Aside from that stuff, I don't own a single thing in this world I can't fit into one backpack. My girlfriend does not own a single thing in this world she can't fit into one backpack. We've been on the road for 5.5 years. We've been in hotels for 5.5 years. I think probably 2 or 3 nights a year I stay at like someone's house because they're like close friends of mine. Other than that, we are in hotels every single day. And we plan on being on the road nomading for the rest of our lives. So 5.5 years homeless, no intention of ever having a home. That is the absolute, not just plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be traveling full time until I fall over. It's just my personality. I'm never happy in one place. I can't stand waking up in the same bed every day. I feel like a bear with his paw trapped in a clamp. For me, I have to be I got to be in a new city every day. I don't know if it's a mental disorder or I don't know what causes it, but that's it. Oh, hold on. All right. Hey, I'm going to, oops, I have the key. I got to run upstairs. So I'm going to check out you guys. Let's see. What state currently? I currently am by Louisville, Kentucky. And let's see, coming up with do a different prank. Fastest way to lose weight. Hey, hold on. Let me do this. Give me 1 second. I will give you the answer to your questions. But I'm going to be out of range for a second. I would love to talk about weight loss because I was a bit of a fatty 4 years ago. Not a huge fatty, but I was a little bit of a fatty. And I figured out the solution, and I would love to share it with you. Y'all need to give me about 90 seconds. I need to get in upstairs. I just got a message that Adriana is locked out of the room because of the fire alarm. So I will run upstairs right now to her and let her in. So give me 1 second. Actually, I can probably go back in the room too. And then I will tell you the secret that I figured out. It's not really a secret, but I'm pretty confident that this is the best approach. Hold on. 30 more seconds. Be all out of breath walking up the stairs. I'm in good shape, but I'm still 55. Hey, you, I just saw the message. You got the right thing, which was, I could see the first 3 words on the alert. So then I saw it. I saw the words "I'm back at," so I thought I thought it was going to say "I'm back in the room," or I said "I'm back." All right. I'm going to tell you how to lose weight. I have to catch my breath. Become a fighter. Fastest way to lose weight. Okay, so here's what I know about losing weight. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that this is always one of those things where it's like, it sounds strange because I dropped out of school in the 10th grade, and so what do I know? But one of my skills that I'm very proud of is I have the best bullshit detector of any person I've ever known. Like, I know when I see bullshit. And the amount of misinformation about weight loss, whether it's bad information or whether it's like, it's kind of helpful, but it's more correlation, or yes, technically it'll work, but it's not sustainable. So it doesn't actually work, even though it does. Like, there's so much crap out there. It's so bad. I'm going to tell you the facts. So when it comes to weight loss, there's two parts. Number one, it is 100% about taking in less calories than you burn in a day. That's it. If your body needed 2,000 calories of energy to keep your heart beating, your brain functioning, to get your legs moving when you walk, to get through bowling league, like whatever. If your body burned 2,000 calories worth of energy, if you take in any amount less than 2,000 calories, your body had to have gotten those calories from somewhere. And where it gets it is it burns those calories that are stored on your body, most of it in the form of fat, not all, but mostly fat. You take in less calories than you burn, you cannot physically even maintain the same weight. You must lose weight. It's physics, period. That's the part that is not so ever stated, or not never stated, but rarely stated. That's all it is. Now, the question then is, how do you take in less calories than you burn? And there are two ways to do this. The first is to take in less calories, and the second way is to simply burn more calories. This is the whole idea of diet and exercise. Diet to take in less calories, exercise to burn more calories. The only thing is that even though this is technically true, there's a part of this that's kind of bullshit. And it's bad bullshit. Okay. The fact is that your body is so efficient at running that you can do a lot of exercise and burn very few calories. Okay, our bodies are great at being efficient. So now I'm just going to make up the numbers here, okay? Remember, if you're taking less calories in the day than you burn, you lose weight. So let's say your body needs 2,000 calories to get through the day. And let's say you take in 1,900 calories, you lose weight. If you take in 2,100 calories, you're going to gain a little bit of weight, unless your body metabolism burns it, which is possible. But now let's say 2,000 is what you need to get through a normal day. Now let's say, for example, you get on a treadmill for 45 minutes, which would freaking suck to be on a treadmill for 45 minutes. Well, when you're all said and done, what have you done by getting the treadmill for 45 minutes? You've probably burned maybe 300 calories at most. It's nothing. If you get on the treadmill, you burn 300 calories. Well, now you need to have taken in less than 2,300 as opposed to 2,000. Well, there's two problems with that. The first is that the fact you got on the treadmill is probably going to increase your appetite. You might drink some Gatorade, or you might drink some whatever. Like, you might eat a little more. So then you might take some of those calories back in, but that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is this. You need 2,000 calories to get through the day, but you're probably eating 3,000 calories or 3,500 or 4,000 calories. So you get on the treadmill. It's like, hey, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get on the treadmill. You get on the treadmill. Now your body needs 2,300 calories, but you're eating 3,500. It's like you didn't create a calorie deficit because you only burn this many calories when you do the exercise. So it's not that you don't technically burn calories, but it's nominal compared to the effects of eating less. So the whole key to weight loss, it's like 97% about calorie intake. That's it. It has to be, you have to take in less calories. Now, it does not mean exercise isn't good for you. It is good for you, but it's not where you lose weight. You lose weight by taking in less calories. And exercise gives you a little bit. And by the way, I know this sounds almost controversial. Every doctor will tell you it's good to exercise and diet. Yeah, I know. This is like, that's the narrative. That's the narrative of every Bowflex commercial. That's the narrative of every gym membership. That's the narrative of every Nautilus machine that's ever been sold on an infomercial. Of course, that's the narrative. And by the way, every single Instagram photo where somebody is successfully losing weight, what pictures do they show? Every single day, they show a picture of them doing push-ups and crunches, and they show them jogging every day, and they're losing weight. They're sweating, they're struggling. Boy, it sure looks like they're trying to lose weight. But the reality is, the reason they're losing weight is because they ate less food. But taking a picture of a plate with less food on it is not sexy Instagram material. So I know I'm sounding preachy here, but it just pisses me off because the amount of misinformation, and people are getting screwed because of it. So forget that. Okay. Yes, do exercise. Exercise is good for you. But in my opinion, the exercise you can almost remove as the weight loss component. It's two separate things. Okay. Cardio is good for building heart and lungs, the muscles. Lifting weights is good for building the rest of the muscles. Eating less calories is good for losing weight. And that is really what it comes down to. So now the question is, what's the best way to lose the calories? Because that's the hard part. Because just to say you only need 2,000 calories a day, but you're used to eating 3,500, that's freaking hard to do. How do you reduce the calories? So here's what I figured out. This is what works for me. You got to find your own approach, but this is a damn good one. It's the 80-20 rule. I think that I can remove 80% of my excess empty calories by simply cutting back on 20% of my diet. Right? All I do is remove 5 foods. I got 5 foods that I take out of the equation for me. I don't eat bread. I don't eat pasta. I don't eat tortillas, and I don't eat rice. Those are the 4 main sources of empty calories. Burger is going to be on a lettuce wrap. My burrito is going to be in a bowl. That's it, right? I just don't eat those extra calories. I don't eat that empty calories. My Chinese food is going to be on vegetables. That's how I remove. Those are the 4 foods. And the 5th one is, ready for this? Sweet sugar. Now, I say sweet sugar on purpose because it's like the 80-20 rule. Go ahead and try to remove all the sugar from your diet. It's freaking impossible. Like, I can't imagine being the guy that calls up the barbecue restaurant. Is there any sugar in your barbecue sauce? And when they say there is, I'm like, okay, I'll go somewhere else. I won't eat barbecue. No, screw that. Right? It's sweet sugar. It's soda pop. It's ice cream. It's candy. It's Slurpees. Like that cake, right? That is where it's the 80-20 rule. I remove 80% of my sugar with only 20% of the thing, which is the sweet. And then if they put a little sugar in the salad dressing, who gives a shit? What I've found for me is if I remove bread, tortillas, rice, and pasta, and the sweet sugar, that reduces more than 50% of my calories, and I can virtually eat anything I want as long as I don't eat those 5, because that's the empty calories. Like you can't eat enough grapes to get fat. You can't eat enough beef jerky to get fat. You can't eat enough cheese to get fat. So that's what I think you do. I think you remove those 5 things. Move those 5 things, you're going to lose weight. Now, just to show you my belief as far as like what is sustainable, I have some exceptions to the rules. But what I do is I think this is what you do. If you plan the exceptions, it works. So the exception of somebody like you go to a restaurant and, ooh, that sounds good, I think I'll have that. I don't think that works because you'll always find excuses to eat shitty. But if you know ahead of time what the exceptions are going to be, I just account for those. So here's my exceptions. When I do my seminars, I eat pizza. And the reason I eat pizza at my seminars is because I'm ordering pizza for everybody, and I'm going to be on my feet for 9 hours. I'm like, I can have a couple slices of pizza. It's not going to kill me. Also, when I eat sushi, I don't get sashimi. I get sushi on the rice. So I eat rice with my sushi. It's only like once a week. It's not going to kill me. But I plan in advance that I'm going to do that. And normally I eat ice cream every Sunday. So it's like once a week I have ice cream because I don't want to live without ice cream. Now, right now I'm having no ice cream until the World Championships because I'm training. But that's what I do. So anyways, that's my thing. I'm sorry if it came across preachy. I don't mean to, but I don't mean for it to be preachy. But it's like I'm positive on this, and I've had more people I've talked to say, "Oh my God, that worked." Like I told my friend one time, I had a friend who was really struggling. He was like at 300 pounds, and he's like, I need help, but he just can't stick to a diet. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I go, give up sweet sugar, bread, pasta, rice, and tortillas. And I said, if you do that, eat as much as you want of anything else. And he says, well, that won't work. I'm like, are you going to just trust me? Just give it a couple weeks. And he did. And next thing you know, he's like sending me pictures of his food. He's like literally taking pictures of his food, it's a plate full of food. He even sent a picture of me one time of him sitting in bed and he's got like fruit and cheese and beef jerky while he's watching a movie. He's like what he used to do with like Doritos and whatever. But he's sitting in bed eating. You're not supposed to do that. And he's like, holy shit, I'm losing weight fast. Eating as much as he wanted, but he cut out those 5 things. And I'm like, yeah, because you cut out like 50% of your calories with just those 5 things. So anyways, in my opinion, it works. So exercise is for gaining weight because you build muscle. Cardio builds heart and lungs. Lifting weights builds other muscles on your body. And reducing the calories is how you lose weight. Everything else, such as, when I go to walk, I burn some calories. Yeah, that helps, but it is nominal compared to the eating less. And the final thing I'm going to say on my rant here, the final thing I'm going to say is you get plenty of activity when you disc golf. Okay, don't buy into this myth of like jogging or something like that. That is a load of shit. Okay, this is physics. If you play a round of disc golf on a 5,000-foot course, you walk about 3 miles. Go play 2 rounds on a Saturday, you walk 6 miles. When you walk 6 miles, it takes just about the same amount of energy to walk 6 miles as it does to run 6 miles. The difference is you do it in a short amount of time. But it's like driving a car. You drive a car, it might get slightly better mileage at a certain speed as opposed to another, right? It's more or less efficient, but you burn close to the same amount of gasoline when you drive the same distance at different speeds. When you play disc golf, you get lots of exercise, you get your steps in, you burn your calories, and you do it without knowing you're exercising. Don't get on the treadmill. Treadmills were created for prisoners as punishment. Go Google it. Like literally, treadmills were a torture device for unruly prisoners 100 years ago. Treadmills suck. They're bullshit. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of running. All right, there's my rant. Way more information than you were probably looking for. Sorry if that was a little much, but this is what I believe. Oh, and by the way, every other Tuesday, next Tuesday, go to scottstokely.net/Discord, and we just have an open discussion on physical and mental health. Talk about this all the time. So good luck to you. And send me updates. If you're doing good, updates. Send me updates. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to read a couple more things here. Fastest way to lose weight. Perfect life. Okay, you need to microdose again and clear the head. I'm aged out of all that stuff. Is there an app that shows courses to play? Like places, play for pickleball, travel quite a bit. Also went to your clinic in Jacksonville, playing for 2 months now. Sweet. Thanks for coming to the clinic in Jacksonville. Bobby, UDisc. UDisc is absolutely gold, and it's basically free to use. You cannot go wrong. It'll track your rounds. You can make UDisc all the way. Unless you lose fat and gain muscle, muscle weighs more than fat. Yep, lost a lot of weight counting calories. That's it. And cutting bread. Always diet first. I missed some of this live, but had to help my son. Jump back on and seen your clip about getting service members playing. And then you're a vet. Stoked about this. I dropped you a DM on Facebook. Thank you, Jimmy. Sugar's the deadliest drug affecting us today. Andy, you are 100% right. Sugar is the devil. This is why, look, this is going to sound crazy talk, okay? This is going to sound like abs, this can't possibly be right because sugar is natural and artificial sweeteners are artificial, and if you give a rat saccharin or some artificial sweetener, if you give them enough of it, they'll die from it. And so therefore they're bad for humans, right? Well, it turns out that the amount the human would have to eat would be like 80 pounds of this stuff before it had the same dosage that they gave this poor rat that it killed. Here's the absolute fact. And if people don't want to hear this because it doesn't feel right, but facts over feelings, in my opinion. No, it's not my opinion. I would call it a fact. Facts are more important than feelings. The fact is that most of the research shows that artificial sweeteners are nowhere near as bad for you as sugar. Sugar is a million times worse for you, your body, your weight. I suppose probably in a perfect world, water is probably better for you than diet soda or soda. I'm guessing water's better for you, maybe. But if you have to choose between soda and diet soda's better. And go ahead and blast me in the comments. Tell me how wrong I am. I'm just going with what the data shows. Sugar is death. It's natural. So what? There's mushrooms that'll murder you dead if you eat them. Just because it's natural doesn't make it good. Sugar is death. Artificial sweeteners, nowhere near as bad. And actually, this is the truth. There are studies that have shown that people actually are more successful in their diets with diet soda than they are with Coke, because the artificial sweetener does satiate some of the sweet cravings. So in these randomized, placebo-controlled double-blind studies where they observe people drinking different things, and it turns out that people drinking soda will actually eat less sweets than people who drink water because they're getting something. So anyways, yeah, by the way, that was a big old rant there, but Andy, sugar is death. You are completely right. Mandatory diet says, yeah, essentially a keto diet. I lost 40 pounds in 2.5 months, no carbs and sugars. Yeah, mandatory disc golf. It's what I do is similar to keto, but I can't stick to any. I'm not good with rules, like as far as like controlling my life. I just can't follow a diet. But essentially, that's what it is: low carbs, lots of fat and meat. Caleb says, "What's your IQ, Scott? It seems pretty high." It's not low, but IQ tests ultimately, what they really measure is they measure your ability to take IQ tests. So I've taken IQ tests. For example, I tested this because I was curious about this. I took an IQ test, and after I took it, I did a couple books on logic problems and, like not crossword puzzles, but things that you would find like in Adele crossword puzzle books, with like logic puzzles and brain, challenges and things like that, and wordplay. And then I took an IQ test and I scored way higher just because my brain had been more used to doing like logic problems. So I don't really trust IQ tests. But when I've taken it, it's not. Mark says, UDisc. And Mark says, great app for looking for courses. Yep. Discord sessions are awesome. Thank you, Wookie. Yes, scottsilka.net/Discord. Every other Tuesday, we talk about mental health. It's actually, this is not on purpose because everybody's invited, but it's kind of at times it's turned into like, if it's all guys in there, we wind up talking about guy stuff too, because there is stuff that's relevant there as well. Sugar is an inflammatory. Dude, sugar's horrible. Zero sugar is awesome and 0 calories most of the time. Yeah, I can't do the no sugar completely. It's too much work. What kind of foods do we use for snacks? Okay, Wookie, for snacks, I love fresh fruit. By the way, fruit juice that's been processed is really, really high in sugar. Basically, there's something about eating fruit that has to do with the fiber and the way you digest it. It just has a different effect. But also, when you eat fruit, you can't get that much. I mean, think about it. You could drink a 32-ounce thing of apple juice, which would be like 20 apples or something. Well, if you're going to eat an apple, you're going to have one. So even then, it's a modest amount of sugar. And then I do meat and cheese. That's it. Meat and cheese. Patrick, big fan. Hope I crush it this year. Thank you, sir. I got some big events planned. I'm going to the World Championships, overall championships in Sweden, the World Disc Golf Championships in Finland. I'm going to the International Frisbee Championships, the oldest frisbee or oldest flying disc tournament in the world. It's been going on since 1958, and I'm competing at the International Frisbee Championships in a game called Guts. Yeah, mandatory disc golf, says mixed nuts. Fantastic. I couldn't agree more. You just can't eat that much.
Hey, tell them if they want, like, if they miss crunchy stuff, pork rinds.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can even get them with salt and vinegar.
Yeah, pork rinds. Pork rinds are fantastic. By the way, let me go on 10 more seconds of a rant here, okay? Because this is one more thing it's insane, is that people are like, there was this myth. So I'm older. So in my lifetime, like in the 80s and 90s, there was this whole myth about fat being bad for you. Like there was a time when they said eggs were bad for you, but it's like fat is bad for you. Like fat is literally, like animal fat, rather specifically, animal fat is literally nature's way of storing everything a mammal needs to leave when food is scarce. Like, fat is fantastic for you. Animal fat is great for you. And I think at some point, sometime in the 80s, there was like some genius, probably in Washington, who was like, wait a second, it's called fat. We're trying to make people less fat. So therefore, they should eat less fat because it's called the same thing. Fat, bad. And everything became low fat and no fat. And it's like, what are you guys doing? What's fat's not bad for you. It just feels bad for you. Fat's not bad. So yeah, don't be afraid of fat, you guys. Don't be afraid of fat or meat. Just stay away from the sugar. And Caleb says, am I in the 180s IQ? I doubt that. I have gaps. What I have, I can tell you about my smarts, only because you're asking, Caleb, is I have areas where I'm hyper intelligent. And then I have areas where I have glaring holes in my intelligence, where I'm well below average. And it might be like people have said high functioning autism, like really high functioning, because I'm so accelerated in certain areas. I come up with 100, approximately 120 unique content ideas every single month. Like, that's weird. Like, I know when it comes to creativity, that's bizarre. Like, to come up with 120 video ideas and, posts, and I never run out of ideas. Right? At the same time, like, I can't figure out how to do the most simple mechanical things, like I can't look at the panel on an air conditioner in a hotel room and figure out how to turn it on and off. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It's like my brain just is like, it's overdeveloped in some areas and underdeveloped in others. And so I have no idea why. And I think there might even be something to this, which is, if one part of your brain is developed, the part of the brain that is responsible for spatial awareness, you have to make room for that by making some other part smaller. And I think that with most people who are hyper intelligent in certain areas are hyper dumb in others. I think that's a common thing. Like, it's kind of like the cliche of like the math genius who is socially awkward. So that's the way my brain is. So when you say like, what's my IQ? It's like, it's really hard to say, because like, what is intelligence? Like, intelligence is like, well, I'm really smart in certain areas, but I'm not smart in others. Like, am I smarter than somebody that can repair a car? Well, that's pretty fucking ignorant of me if I thought I was, because they have a skill that I can't comprehend, and I probably have skills they can't comprehend. Like how could I like? But if we both took IQ tests, I probably finish higher than the average person at random. But that doesn't make me smarter. It means that I'm smart in this area, they're smart in that area. I'm not saying this to be humble. I mean, that's the way intelligence is. So it's so thank you for thinking I'm smart, but I have gaps in my smarts. I'm not smart at everything, that's for sure. Go read my life's history. If you look at the ups and downs of my life, I've been pretty unsmart at times. I would say that's pretty fair, right?
Yep.
I've made some pretty bad life decisions in my life. How smart can I could tell you some stupid stuff I've done, and you're like, well, how smart could you possibly be if you made those decisions? So I take it with a grain of salt. Caleb says, if you eat lots of meat, you have to have fat or you get rabbit poisoning. I'm not. I will go look that up. I've not.
Rabbit poisoning.
What's that?
Is a salad? Rabbit.
Oh, because you have to eat a lot of meat, you have to have fat, or you get rabbit poisoning. Is that because it makes you want to eat salads? When is the Genesis due for release? The Genesis will be released, but I don't have a date yet. Am I late? Have we talked Peregrine yet? Thomas, thank you for joining in to ask me about the Peregrine. I'm going to talk to you about the Peregrine. This is the Peregrine. This is the high-speed driver. I've heard people can say it's a cross between a Wraith and a Destroyer, which is an amazing compliment, because both of those are obviously classic, incredible discs. But I'll take I didn't say it, they did. I need you guys to order it from StokelyDiscs.com and then submit flight numbers. That's the biggest thing. I need flight numbers. And I'm crowdsourcing flight numbers, so I can't provide the flight numbers. You have to provide them, so I need you. Let's see. What is he paragraph? But yeah, much like its namesake, it's a fast birdie. Thomas says it's a fast bird. Yeah, the peregrine, by the way, the full name is a peregrine falcon. And we were trying to decide if we want to call it a peregrine or peregrine falcon. We went with peregrine. Thomas, we'd moved on to the parakeet. Wookie says, hey, there will be a parakeet coming out, obviously. That's a no-brainer. Michael, hello from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Michael, I will be in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on July 6th, getting ready for the International Frisbee Championships. I'm so excited. Like, I can't believe it. It's like I have very few things on my bucket list in disc sports. I mean, I've truly lived the luckiest life in the world, and I've done nearly everything I want to do in the sport. I have not been to the International Frisbee Championships, and that's been on my list forever. So I cannot wait to come up to the UP and eat. What's the food they eat at there?
Huh?
What's the food they eat in the UP?
Pasties?
Pasties. We're going to go up there and we're going to eat pasties. I don't drink, so I'm just going to eat pasties. And by the way, yes, there's carbs in pasties, but I'm not going to not eat a pasty in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Thomas says it's way more stable than Wraith, in my opinion. Okay, awesome. Well, then submit your flight numbers. Hey, I'm saying I think so too, but submit flight numbers. I'm glad you've thrown it. Hey, Thomas, so I take it you've thrown it. Give me like a 3-sentence review though. Tell me if you like it. Unless you don't like it, then keep your damn mouth shut. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. You have permission to give me your unbiased review of the peregrine. You can be completely honest. I'm totally joking. Michael says pasty. Hey, the Quakenbush, Alberta, Canada here. Hello, Alberta, Canada there. I cannot, oh, by the way, we need a pigeon, Stokely's version of a bird. I am coming out with the pigeon. That's one of the next discs I'm coming out with is called the pigeon. So, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's rad. No rabbits. Have no fat people used to die from it, basically protein poisoning. Oh, no kidding. Okay. No. I thought you were making a joke about people who eat salads because, by the way, I had a salad for dinner tonight. Right? I literally had a salad for dinner. I'm going to be in good shape until the World Championships. Your body starts to eat itself. I gotcha, Caleb. Two-tone Cadillac. That sounds like the perfect distance driver. Destroyer you don't get shamed for, and what should be a raid for your high speed. Yeah, like I think I love this disc. It's absolutely going to be my number one high speed driver at the World Championships. Thomas says, got my peregrine today in the mail and spent about 2 hours throwing it. And man, I love that thermoplastic. That's awesome. Tell me about how it flies, Thomas. What do you think? What's up, Ron? Best live stream day of my life. Thomas, give me a couple sentence review of the peregrine. I want to hear what you think. And then I'll let everybody go. I love chatting with everybody. You guys are the freaking best. I love all the people that are in my life. I love social media. Like if it wasn't for social media, like I could never connect with all the people around the world that I've become friends with over the years. I would be so sad. And thank you for the bonus. That was so cool. Ron says, got mine today. Tomorrow morning, I'll check it out. Thank you for the bonus. That was so cool. You are welcome. What was the bonus? Thomas, it's not for the noodle arms, but I got some really nice long flights out of it. I'm thinking maybe a 13 speed, but with 0 turn. We will see if you change your mind tomorrow. Threw it in the rain. Oh, the extra disc. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, sir. So Thomas, yeah, I don't think, well, I'm not going to tell you what, I don't want to give you any things in the flight numbers, but I had it between like an 11 and a 12 was my take on it. But That's just my opinion. But I'm glad you like it. So you think it basically flies dead straight when you crush it? Mine hasn't come yet. When should what should I expect for slower arm speed? Brooks, it's going to be a overstable disc at slower arm speeds for sure. So you're definitely going to, if you throw it 300 feet, it's overstable. But if you rip it, it's going to be pretty damn straight flying. It's just good. I don't know how to describe it. It has less fade than most discs, most high speed drivers, which means it just keeps penetrating forward. Like it's so good. I don't take any credit. You guys, I've never claimed to design discs. Any of the pros out there, they're like, I designed this new disc for my life. No, you didn't. Give me a break. Like that's an entire skill set. The only golfer out there designing discs is Tomas Ekstrom from Latitude. Well, no, that's not true. A couple of the old players, Dave McCormick designs discs. So there's a few. I guess technically, probably most of the players designing discs used to be players, but the players who have a line of discs out, right? We're not now. Like I have someone designing them, so I get no credit for how great the Peregrine is, but it's freaking amazing. Let's see. Tomas says, my thought is it's sort of like a Defender, a 13, but it feels like a Wraith driver in the hand. Okay. Caleb says, isn't the speed based on the width of the rim? Basically, it's based on the width of the rim. But there is some subjectivity to that. So that's why the crowdsourcing is like, there's so much subjectivity. We just go, we'll let the crowd decide. Caleb says, I only throw at 74. 74 miles per hour, Caleb? What the hell? Ron Jones says, I've thrown the 165-gram turn for 3 years. Got a Peregrine of the same week. I'll give you a good test. All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, you guys. I'm going to head out. I hope I didn't get... Well, hey, let me ask you all a question before I go. Quick poll. I kind of went off on a couple rants. We were talking about a couple things like we were talking about diet. We were talking about exercise. We were talking about how intelligence is measured. What do you think about stuff like that? It's kind of off topic. When we talk about all the other non-disc golf stuff, are you guys generally thinking, man, when are we going to get back to disc golf? This is so lame. Or are you thinking, no, it's cool talking about other stuff besides disc golf because it's more variety? Let me know your thoughts real quick before I go, because I don't want to be on a rant talking about. I don't want to get on rants talking about other stuff, and then the audience is like, nah, I don't want to tune into his live streams. He talks about other stuff. Focus beats intelligence for me. Let's see. Wookiees are like the Discord. I'll talk about anything. You know that. Not much disc golf, but great topics. All right. I want to have, like, one of these times, I want to have the discussion on we never talk about relationships on these live streams. Not that it's relevant, but because we get off talking on stuff, we never actually talked about that stuff. I'm always trying to learn. Going with the flow was okay in my book. Cool, man. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go. It's 10 o'clock here, which is it's not late, but I'm gonna get some more work done before I go to sleep. As crazy as it sounds, I get up at 6 every morning to start working. So not a complaint. I got a really neat life, but I got to get up early to work like I always do. So it's good chatting with all of you. Final thing, get the Peregrine. Go to stokeydisc.com, order your Peregrines. You're going to love them. Submit flight numbers. And Dr. Stokely relationship. I'm telling you, I got some good, I'm an expert at that stuff. You need to contact Unsubscribe Contest. Eli is a son on the spectrum. Ron, contact them. Tell them to reach out to me, please. I'll let you contact them, please, please, please. I would love that. But get the Peregrine. If your store near you doesn't sell Stokely discs, message me on Facebook and tell me, and I'll give them a call. And other than that, just join my Discord and become part of the inner circle for Stokely Discs and stuff we do. All right, thanks everybody. And we'll talk. Oh yeah, Wookie, bring that up next Tuesday on Discord, and we'll talk about that. It's related to mental health, right? All right, see you guys. Talk to y'all later. You all are the best.